Alright, good morning. My name is Daphne and today we're outside. It's about 6:50 in the morning. We're just trying to get this done as quickly as possible. We emptied out the compost bin, did some things with the irrigation system. We actually also need to cut down this beauty here, this catnip. Now I did let it go a little too long because it does have flowers, but I can actually still collect this before the seeds come and before the bees are all over this. So we're going to cut this down. There's a hummingbird. I'm not going to be able to show you guys before it flies away. But we're actually going to cut this down today, not all of it, just enough for it to be able to grow back lush without the flowers. Dump it inside of the wading pool or the swimming pool, add a little bit of vinegar, add a cup of vinegar, and kind of let it marinate for a couple of hours because we do need to take it in the house so that it can dry. And I usually put them within these huge brown paper bags I get from the grocery store. So we're going to do that. And then we're also going to start on our fall seeds too. Now there are a couple of fall plants I actually do have in this garden right now. We do have our collard greens, which we actually did just pull from. A beautiful harvest. We did take some cabbage as well. We do have our winter squash currently in the grow space, and we do have carrots. Those typically are fall crops, which basically means they grow better, taste better the colder it gets outside. But they do still need heat and sun in order to get established. So this is the perfect time to actually start working on our germinating our turnips because they do need the heat, they do need the moisture. So in that little spot I have in the tomato raised bed, I'm actually going to bury some containers that have a closed bottom because we do have voles in these beds, and the last time I tried to grow roots in these beds it failed miserably. So we're going to actually bury some containers inside of the enclosed area near the irrigation system, and we're going to actually plant our turnips. Now these take 55 days to harvest, so I'm guessing right around mid-September we should actually have full turnips to be able to harvest. Hopefully closer to October because we can start eating those fresh. But if not, and if they are open a little, like if they are developed already a little earlier, then we will literally just blanch these, obviously wash them, skin them, blanch them, and we can stick them in the freezer. Now I've done this for quite a few years growing turnips. They do get a little spongy even after you blanch them and put them in the freezer, but that's okay because I'm actually using them to cook with the greens, so I don't care if they're spongy. But we're going to start our turnips today, and that actually will be the last plant that we actually grow directly in this garden space. And since I have a space, we're going to dig up some soil. So let's cut this first before the bees wake up, and then we're going to go over and start our turnip greens. Or turnip greens, but also the root. So let's go. That's all of it. All right, we have our harvest, so let's take it to the what do you call it, swimming pool area, dump some vinegar in it, and we're gonna let this soak for about an hour or two. I was thinking over here would be a really good spot. We're actually going to dig a hole. Sorry, the sun is coming up right in front of my face. We're actually gonna dig a hole and bury these two. They have holes drilled into the bottom. We're gonna bury it to keep them moist, but also we're gonna bury them in these instead of putting them directly into the soil because we do have bowls. And I would actually like to get a turnip that doesn't have little teeth marks. So we're going to dig some holes, bury this, fill this up with soil, and water it in. So let's go. So it should be able to fit those two containers in here. The problem is that we have some very healthy tree roots in here, so I'm going to trim those, and then we're going to fit this directly in here. Alright, get these out of here. Let's see the grub that can come out. those in the walkway. And then put these in here. Let's see if they'll both fit. I think so. It's not perfect, but it'll work. And then we'll just backfill it. Alright, well, let's uncover it. See where we put it. Alright, there's one right there. Alright. Now that we have that uncovered, we can take our seed package here. And just lightly sprinkle some, maybe just a single row. And we'll thin them out as time progresses, the same way we did the carrots. Every time we come out, we just pull one or two if they're clusters. Alright. And then we're lightly going to cover it back up. Alright, so let's see if this works. I am going to try to cover this. I do have to water it in, so we have to water. It's a little hole here. Alright, I'm going to try to water this in very carefully so as not to disturb the roots. And I do want to cover it, so I might get some tool just to stop like the pill bugs or anything that would actually eat the newly sprouted plants. But we'll check on it every now and again and see if we do get anything sprouted or if this even works.